Alright guys, so in this episode we are going to be completing this reservation component, and for the last episode we just brought in each of these input fields, but we can't pick a date and we can't also like select a number. So we need to make sure all these are working, and that's what we're going to be doing in this episode. So let's go back to our code and let me scooch back up. As you can see, this set booking data is not in use, but essentially we want to store all the values the user is going to enter on this set booking data. And the first one we want to store is the check-in date, and we'll have to create an arrow function called handle check-in change, and this will, let me first of all make it okay, and this will accept a date of type of date or undefined, like we did here. And inside this function we basically want to first of all check if the date is undefined. That means if there's no date. So we say if there's no date, then we'll set the booking data like so. I'll grab the previous value, and inside this we'll spread over the previous value and grab in the check-in data and set it to undefined. I'll save, and let's just stop it from going to the next thing. But if the user selects a date, we just want to make sure that we want to, let me write this in the comments, so we want to like normalize the date to match the UTC midnight. And the reason why we're doing this is just to avoid bugs due to time zone differences. So what we'll do is to create a variable called UTC date. Essentially we just set a new date method, and inside this date method we'll say date dot UTC, which is this one. Then we say the date that the user enters, we get full year, and we also say date gets month as well. It should be months, and we want to get the date itself, so say date should be get date, and of course we want to set it to 12 midnight, so say 0 0 0 0, just like we did in this, I think it's this part. Yeah, so what we did here, we just resetted it back to, so we just reset it back to midnight, which is 12 a.m. So now that we have this, we can just copy this like so and paste it here, but this time the check-in now should be the UTC date. So to use this handle check-in change, we just have to go down to the calendar component, and under selected we say on select we want to call the handle check-in change. So now hopefully if we click on the pick a date and let's just say 12. Okay, so we're supposed to get the dates, but we're getting the actual time zone of my country. So what we do, I think, okay, yeah, I think it's from this. So this should be uppercase P, not lowercase. So now it should convert it to the actual date. Yeah. So we can still do the same for the checkout. So we just copy this and say this should be checkout, then change this to checkout. What else? Okay, I also need to change this to checkout. So let's also use this handle checkout change. So I will go to this. So under selected, we say on select, and we say handle checkout, not checking. So like so. So if we check now, I can pick a check-in date. So let's just say 13th, and I can select 20th. Okay, again, we just need to convert this back to uppercase. So uppercase P, and this should give me the correct date. But a little catch is that you can see that when I have 13 selected and I come to the checkout date, I shouldn't be able to select 13th anymore, or the dates below 13th. So but now you can see that I can select 11. So the way to go around that is to come back right here. I think underneath this, so under this disable property, what we'll do is we say, let me just get rid of all these like so. So now we say if the date is lesser than the new date, or we want to just use the booking data this time to just check. So we say, and this should be in parentheses, not curly brackets. So we say booking data dot check-in, and the condition we want to check for is if the date is lesser than or equal to the booking data dot check-in, else let's just set it to false, like so. So now I believe if I refresh again, and pick a date, so let's pick any date, so let's say 12. Now I shouldn't be able to select that date or the date below that, which is this. So we can only pick the date above that. So we can pick 14, 13, but we can no longer select 12 because it's already disabled. So the next thing we want to do is to keep track of the number of rooms the user selects, the adults for the rooms, and the children for the rooms as well. So we'll go back and I'll do that. Let's do it here. So we'll say const, and we'll create a new function again. I'll call this handle number change, and this will take an event, and this will be of change event, and we want to focus on the HTML input. I believe this is written input element. Hope I'm not wrong. Okay, yeah. So like so. So remember that we already, let me close this out. Let me do this as well. So we already have the name of each of these inputs right here. So what we want to do is to destructure the name and the value from this event listener. So we say const, and we say e.target, and this time we say name and value. So we'll grab the set booking data and we'll get the previous value, and we'll just spread over the previous values, and we'll set the name. So whatever the name is that we select, so it can be number of rooms, adult or children, we set it to the value. But since we are working with numbers, we'll pass it to an integer and just say value, and of course we will set it to base 10. So now we can come to any of these and we'll say on change, we want to call in the handle number change. So let me just copy it here and paste it here as well. Alright, so if we check it out now, you will see that we can now, okay, we still can't increase the number. Okay, this is working for this. Children is working, but the adults is not working. So let's see why that is not working. I think this should be, let's change this to adults first. I think this should be plural. So let's see. Okay, it's not working. So it's supposed to be plural. Alright, so now that we have that working, we just need to calculate this price based on the number of days, which is the difference between this and the number of rooms that the user wants to book. So what we do is I will go back to our code and I will go back up and I'll create a new function this time. So I'll call this one get, it should be constant. So we say get number of days. And again, let's just bring this like so. And this is where the core logic is. So we'll pass in two parameters. The first one will be the start date, which will be of type date or undefined. And the other one will be the end date, which will also be of type date or undefined as well. So let's save. And first of all, let's just check if there is no start date or there is no end date. So let's just stop it by just saying return. But if there's a start date, we'll just store that and say start date time. So the time now, set it to new date. And we'll pass in the start date and we want to get the time, not time zone, so time, like so. So also do the same to the end date as well. We'll say end date time and this should be end date. So remember that the start date and end date are basically just the check-in and check-out date. So we'll be passing all these as arguments to these parameters. So what we want to do now is to get the time difference between both of them. So say time difference will be the end date time minus the start date time. And we also need to get the days difference. Is it days or day difference? I'll just use days. So days difference will be now the time difference that we've gotten from here. So this will be divided by, let's put this in parentheses. So we'll say 1000 times 3600 times 24. And this should be 3600, not 23,600. Because what we are doing is that we're just converting the milliseconds time difference to days. So basically 1000 milliseconds make 1 second. And instead of splitting this into 60 times 60, I just made it 3600 because 60 seconds make 1 minute and 60 minutes make 1 hour and 24 hours make 1 day. So now that we've gotten the days difference, what we want to do now is to just return maths.ceil and just passing the days difference. So basically we're just converting this to the nearest whole number. So we can come here like so and say number of days, and this should be get number of days. I'll pass in the booking data dot check-in and booking data dot checkout. This should be checkout. I can't type today, so So check out like so, or I can save now. So we have the number of days right here, but the number of days now will now determine the price. So basically the difference between this day and the number of rooms determines what the price is going to be. And just for simplicity's sake, let me just leave it at $20,000. So we just say total price now will be the room dot price times, we want to get the number of rooms, so we say booking data and number of rooms times the number of days. So we can save now, but if we check, say number of days, let's just add an exclamation mark here. So obviously it'll be a number of days. So now what we want to do is to get the discount amount, and I think I'll coded the value here, but I think there's a discount from this thing, so I can say room dot discount like so, and we can get the discount for that room. Okay, this is 50%. So what we can do now is to say discount amount should be the total price times the room discount divided by 100, like so. So we can't just use this as it is, because we want to also get the total price with the discount. So basically we'll have the total price with the discounts, then we'll also have the old value, which is this 20,000. So what we'll do is say total price with discounts, and we just say the total price minus the discount amount, so whatever that discount amount is, and this will be what we'll be sending to our Sanity CMS later on. So to use this, we just need to go underneath. So under this, we'll bring in a new div, and I'll give this a class name of flex items will be center, and gap will be like 2. Then inside this div, what we'll just do is to use curly brackets and save the room discount if it's greater than 0, so if there's a discount, and also if the total price is greater than 0 as well. Then we can just do 2 things. So first of all, we'll do something right here, and else we also want to do another thing right here like so. So the first thing we want to do is to use this code fragment like this, and what I'll do is I'll copy this or cut this here and put it here. And let me just for now do the same thing here as well, just to get rid of this error that is popping up. Okay, so the first one will be the total price. So we'll say total price, and we'll have to put like a line through, so this will be like scrapped out. So if we check now, we see we're getting $80,000, and that is right, because from 12 to 13 should be 20,000, and the number of rooms is making it this amount. So if we reduce this number of rooms, you will see that this is an actual amount. So for 2 rooms now will be $40,000. So what we have to do here is to change this format to be the real price now that has the percentage discount included. So if we save now, we should get the or see the other amounts, but we are not seeing that right now. I don't know why that is showing like that. Okay, so this should be like this, my bad, and this should not be the total price of discounts, because this should just be the total price again. So let me do this properly. So paste this again, and it should be total price like so. So if we go back and save, you can see that 15% of 40,000 is $34,000. So if we do the actual one, see that we're getting a 15% discount of $20,000, which would be the $17,000. Right, guys, that's it for this episode. In the next episode, we're going to be implementing authentication with Clark.